Hello dear students, let's get started with the second part of heat, that is the transfer of heat. That is, we are going to deal with conduction, convection and radiation today, and with several activities and all. So please don't skip my videos in between. Please do go through the full episode because there are many important things which you need to know during learning of this video. That is, in this lesson there are many more important things. Please watch till the end and please don't skip in between. So let's get started with today's episode of transfer of heat. So today this topic, transfer of heat, is quite interesting and I think you all know a bit of it. So let's start explaining in detail. So you might have observed when your mother is cooking that a frying pan, when it is kept on the flame, it becomes very hot, and because it is the heat passes from the flame to the utensil, and when the pan is removed from the fire, it slowly cools down. So why does this happen? Why does it cool down? Because the heat is transferred from the frying pan or from the utensil to the surroundings. Okay, so you understand that in cases always the heat will be flowing from hotter object to the colder object, right? So in fact it is in general it is transferred from a body having a higher temperature to a body having a lower temperature, right? So let us do this experiment now, activity we will be doing. Now, does it mean that heat will not be transferred if the temperature of the two objects is same? So we are having so many questions that if both the objects are having a same temperature, will the heat not be transferred from one to another? So in all cases, the heat flows from hotter to colder. How does heat flow? Let us investigate in this following activity 3.6. Now we are taking a rod or a flat strip of metal, say it is aluminium or iron. So we know that all these metals are good conductors of heat. So we are taking aluminium or iron. Now fix a few small wax pieces on the rod. Now you can see this diagram, this over here. So this is a metallic rod. On that we have placed few wax pieces on it. Okay. Now these pieces should be nearly equal distances. Now clamp the rod to a stand. Here it has been shown that in between two bricks the rod has been placed. You can clamp it in a stand also. If you do not find a stand, you can put one end of the rod in between the bricks. And now you are heating the other end of the rod and you are observing, right? So you are placing the other end of the tube and you are observing what happens to the wax pieces. So now just see, do these pieces begin to fall? Which piece falls first, and do you think the heat is transferred from the nearest to the flame to the other end? So here the flame is put here. Now the nearest wax strip, it falls first, then it gradually this one will fall, gradually this one will fall, and then it will go on like this. So how they are falling, how they are melting these wax strips? Because it is heated, the metallic rod is heated and heat is gradually conveyed through this rod, and this process by which the heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. So is it very clear to you all that what is conduction? Conduction is the process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. Now this is the definition of conduction. So if they are telling you in your exam that explain conduction with one example, so this example you can give. And with this definition, it's very easy that it is transferred from hotter end to a colder end of an object, and in solids generally the heat is transferred by the process of conduction. Okay, so do all substances conduct heat easily? You must have observed the metallic pan for cooking has a plastic or a wooden handle. Why? Because the heat will not be conducted to the wooden handle or the plastic handle, because they both are bad conductors of electricity. They will not get heated quickly. So can you lift the hot pan by holding it from the handle without getting hurt? Yes, obviously, because wood and plastic, they are very bad conductors of electricity, and they are very bad conductors of heat. So now we will move on to the next activity. Now, what is happening in this activity 3.7? Now, heat water in a small pan or a beaker. So it is another experiment to prove this conduction process again. So in different types of articles. So collect some articles such as a steel spoon, a plastic scale, a pencil, a divider. So all these articles are made up of different materials, right? Pencil is made up of wood, divider is made up of a metal, plastic scale is made up of plastic, steel spoon is made up of steel. So dip one end of each of these articles in this hot water which you have heated, right, in a small pan or a beaker. Now wait for a few seconds and you write this in this table. You write the observations, right? You write steel spoon, then you write plastic scale, then pencil, then divider, and material with which the article is made of, and does the other end get hot or not, what you are going to see. So we will see what is happening here. So after a few minutes, touch the other end, enter your observation in the table. I told you to enter the observation in this table, right? Table 3.3. And the materials which allow the heat to pass through them easily are the conductors of heat. So the process of transfer of heat from the hotter subject to the colder object is called conduction, and the materials which allow the heat to pass through the hotter object to the colder object are called conductors of heat. Now, for example, aluminium, iron, copper, these are the materials. We can say the materials which do not allow the heat they pass to them easily are the poor conductors. So these are good conductors, that is aluminium, iron and copper are obviously the good conductors, and the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them are poor conductors. So poor conductors are also known as insulators. So we have learned conduction, conductors and insulators. So insulators are poor conductors, like plastic and wood are insulators, right? Now, the water and air are poor conductors of heat. Then how does the heat transfer take place in these substances? So let us find out that. So we all know that water is also a poor conductor of heat and air is also a poor conductor of heat. Now let us move on to this activity 3.8. Now take a round bottom flask. If the flask is not available, then a beaker will also be perfect for this experiment, but the round bottom flask is actually necessary. Now if 2/3 of the water is filled in that round bottom flask, place it on a tripod stand and make some arrangement to place the flask in such a way that you can heat it placing a candle below it, right? You can heat it with the help of a Bunsen burner as well, but it should be placed on a tripod stand. The Bunsen burner should be at the middle of this round bottom flasks. Now, place few crystals of potassium permanganate at the bottom of the flask and gently use a straw. Now, heat the water by placing the candle just below the crystal. And now, write your observation in your notebook. Now also draw a picture what you observe. Now you are placing the candle. You are having we will show you this diagram. This is what is happening. There is a tripod stand. This is a flask with a round bottom. You are placing few crystals of potassium permanganate here, and with the help of a Bunsen burner you are heating it. So what is happening? Hot water rises up and the cold water from the sides are moving down towards the source of it. So hot water, we see the hot water being heated and it rises up, and the cold water from the side comes down to fill in this place that is near the source of heat. Now this water also gets hot and rises up, and the water from the sides again moves down. So this process continues till the whole water is heated. This mode of heat transfer is called convection. So first it was conduction, then we have studied about conductors and insulators. Now this is the process of convection. Okay, so how the heat travel in air, in which direction does the smoke go? So this all we will be studying now through different activities, right? So the air near the heat source gets hot and rises. The air from the sides they come in to take in the place, and in this way the air also get heated. The following activity confirms the idea. So the same way as in this case the water was heated, in the same way also the air is also getting heated. First the heat source gets hot and rises up. The air near the heat source gets hot and it rises up. The air from the side gushes in, and in this way the whole air in turn gets heated. The following activity coming forward, we will read this activity 3.9 to confirm the process of convection in air. Okay. Now let us start this activity 3.9. Now we are lighting a candle here. So we are lighting a candle, keeping one hand above the flame and the another hand on the side of the flame. So you should be very aware that your hand should not be very much near to the flame, because there are chances of getting burned. So keep your safe distance and just check that do your hands feel equally hot. If not, which hand feels hotter and why? So please be careful. I have told you earlier that you should not get burned. So let us see what is happening here. Now this is the thing you should do. You should take a candle like this. You should place one hand on the top and one hand on the side. So transfer of heat by convection in air is the main motto of this experiment, right? So notice that towards the top the air gets heated by convection and therefore the hands above the flame feels hot. On the sides, however, there is no convection and so air does not feel hot as hot on the top. So the people living in coastal areas, they experience an interesting phenomena. So what is the phenomena? During the day, the land gets heated faster than the water. So the air over the land becomes hotter. It rises up and the cooler air from the sea rushes in towards the land to take its place. So the warm air from the land moves towards the sea and the complete cycle keeps on continuously happening like this. Cold air from the sea comes towards the land and the hot air rises up. It moves towards the sea. So the air from the sea is called the sea breeze. Okay, so this sea breeze is blowing on the daytime. Okay, and to receive cooler sea breeze, the windows of houses in coastal areas are made to the face of the sea. So we can say that sea facing house. So sea facing house, what is the utility of a sea facing house? They will have cooler sea breeze in the morning because the land is warmer. During the morning, the air from the land moves towards the upwards, and the air to fill in this space, the sea breeze comes in, flows in, gushes in towards the land. Okay, so at night exactly the same thing. This reverse of this thing will be happening. So this thing is not happening at night. Same thing will not be happening at night. What is happening at night? The water cools down. So more the land will be then also hot, so the water is cooling slowly than the land. So the cool air from the land moves towards the sea, and this is called the land breeze. So from the land towards the sea, the wind or the breeze is blowing, and this is called the land breeze. So when we come out in the sun, we feel warm. How does the heat from the sun reach us? It cannot reach us by conduction or convection. So there is no medium such as air is in most, we can say in most part of the space between the earth and the sun. The heat comes to us due to this process called radiation. So the first one we have discussed about conduction, then comes convection, and third one is the radiation. Now let us see this diagram. What is happening here? I told you during the daytime the wind from the sea towards the land, it's gushing in because the hot or warm air, it rises up to fill in the place. The breeze from the sea is coming. So in the daytime it is the sea breeze, and you can say that during the night time the opposite is happening. As the water is cooling slowly than the land is cool, so the wind will flow from the land towards the sea. So at night the land breeze is flowing, right? Is it clear? Okay, so this is what is happening. Sea breeze and land breeze phenomena is happening. So from the sun, we are getting the heat by the process of radiation. The transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. It can take place whether a medium is present or not. So when we sit in front of a room heater, we get heat by this process only. A hot utensil kept away from the flame cools down. It transfers the heat to the surrounding by the process of radiation. Okay. So when you are sitting in front of a room heater, when it is too, now generally in our country in India, we don't use room heaters very in winter season also, but if it is too cool during the month of December or January, might be we are needing a room heater to warm our surroundings. So that is working on the principle of radiation. Now when a hot utensil is kept away from the flame, it cools down as it transfers heat to the surroundings by radiation. So our body too, it gives heat to the surroundings and receives heat from the surroundings by the process of radiation, right? So all hot bodies radiate heat. When this heat falls on some object, a part of it is reflected back and a part is absorbed and a part may be transmitted. Okay, so a part is reflected, a part is absorbed and a part is transmitted. So the temperature of the object increases due to the absorbed part of the heat. Why? So for that reason only you are advised to take umbrella when you go out in the sun. So because the heat should be radiated back. Okay, and why you are being told to use a dark color umbrella? Because you can be protected from the heat rays and the heat, we can say that it will be radiated back towards the environment itself, right? So you will not get the heat in your body. Now let us see that what kinds of clothes do we wear in summer and winter. So we have been told that we should wear light colored clothes in summer preferably, and winter we should wear dark colored clothes. So why is it like that? So is there any scientific reason? What is the logic behind wearing these kinds of clothes? So let us see with this activity. Now take two identical tin cans, paint the outer surface of one black and the other white. Okay, so pour equal amounts of water in each and then leave them in the midday sun for an hour. Okay, measure the temperature of water in both the cans. Do you find any difference in temperature? So what is the observation? Okay, so in which of these the water is warmer? You can feel the difference even by touching the water in these two cans. So obviously in this black colored can, the water will be warmer than the white color can. Okay, so because this black color, it will absorb more heat and the white will be reflecting more heat. So here the water in A can will be hotter than that in B can, right? So now this activity 3.11, let us see what is that. Fill the two cans, this two cans only used in the activity 3.10 with the same amount of hot water at the same temperature, say at 60 degrees centigrade. Leave the cans in room temperature or in shade. Note the temperature of water after 10 to 15 minutes. So does the temperature of water in both the cans fall by the same amount? So that is after 10 to 15 minutes, both the can temperatures are gradually falling at the same pace. They are all they are all at the same temperature, or what is the difference? Okay, so do these activities suggest to you the reason why it is more comfortable to wear white and light colored clothes in summer than dark colored clothes in winter? Because dark surfaces, they absorb more heat and therefore we can say that we feel comfortable with dark colored clothes in winter. Okay, and light colored clothes, they reflect most of the heat that falls on them and therefore we feel more comfortable wearing them in summer, right? Is it clear? So in summer we should always wear light colored clothes because they are reflecting most of the heat and they are not absorbing, so we are not feeling hot in summer. But in winter we should feel hot because it's too cold outside. So then only we should wear dark colored clothes. So what about woolen clothes? Now here there is one here. We often use electricity and fuels like coal and wood to keep our houses cool or warm, right? So is it possible to construct buildings in such a way that are not affected much by heat and cold outside? So this can be done by constructing outer walls of buildings so that they have trapped layers of air inside, because you can see nowadays these bricks are having they are hollow inside. Okay, so they are having these structures are made in that way that they are hollow. So on doing this, on one way of this is that hollow bricks which are trapping the air in between, and they are helping the buildings to trap the heat or cold from outside. Okay, so we can say that outer walls of the building is better to construct with these types of hollow bricks. Okay, now we will move on to this woolen clothes, how they keep us warm in winter. In winter we use woolen clothes. Wool is actually a poor conductor of heat. Moreover, we can say that there is air trapped in between the wool fibers, and the air prevents the flow of heat from our body to cold surroundings, right? So we feel very warm after we wear woolen clothes because it prevents the airflow of heat from our body to the outer surroundings. Suppose you are given a choice in winter of using either one thick blanket or two thin blankets joined together. So which one would you use and why? Remember that there would be a layer of air in between two blankets, so you should always use two thin blankets rather than one thick blankets, because there will be a air trapped inside both the layers of blankets and it will make you feel warmer, right? So what did we learn in this full lesson? So let us just go through a quick revision. So what we have learned today, the main keywords are Celsius scale, conduction, conductor, convection, insulator, land breeze, radiation, sea breeze, temperature, thermometer. This all we have studied in this full lesson in the first and the second part of heat. So if you have not gone through the first part, please go through it. I'll put the link in the description box as well as in the link above. Please don't skip to the lessons in between, because many important things I'll be teaching in between. So what you have learned, we have learned that our sense of touch is not always a reliable guide to the degree of hotness of an object. Temperature is a measure of the degree of hotness of an object. So what is the degree of hotness of an object? Temperature is the measure of degree of hotness of an object. Thermometer is a device used to measure temperature. Now, the clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature. The temperature range is 35 degrees centigrade to 42 degrees centigrade. And laboratory thermometers are starting from minus 10 to 110 degrees centigrade. The normal temperature of human bodies is 37 degree centigrade. The heat flows from the body of a high temperature to a body of a lower temperature, right? Now another thing, there are three ways of conduction of heat. There are three ways of heat flow rather, that is conduction, convection and radiation. In solids, generally the heat is transferred by conduction. In liquids and gases, the heat is transferred by convection, and there is no medium required for the process of radiation. So please make these concepts very much clear, because all the questions will be based on these concepts only. So please go through it very properly. The materials which allow heat to pass through easily are called conductors. The materials which do not allow the heat to pass through them are called insulators. Dark colored objects, they absorb more heat than light colored objects, and that is the reason we feel more comfortable in light colored clothes in summer, right? So woolen clothes keep us warm during winter, and it is so because wool is a poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between the fibers, right? So woolen clothes, we are wearing woolen clothes, and which is keeping us warm during winter, and it is also because wool is a poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between the fibers, right? Now, these are the exercises. These are very easy exercises. I think you all can do this. Please do go through it. Any book, whatever book, whether you are following any other CBSE book or NCERT book, please do these exercises as a homework. Do this question answers, fill in the blanks. And if you are having any doubts, please do ask me. Match the following. These and all, please do it. And if you are having any questions, please do write in my comment box. I'll surely get back to you in the next episode. And so today is the last part of this heat. Don't skip the episode, learn the episode in full, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because if you are subscribing, you will be getting updates more and more whenever I'm posting. Please share it with your friends if you are liking my lesson, as I'll be teaching as per your curriculum, as per your CBSE curriculum or NCERT curriculum. So stay tuned, stay updated with all my lessons. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.